So nice progress on the tank. Welded the fillers on. Really pleased with that. So what I've got to do now is think about making the base. So it's a flat plate with some flanges on it, which are going to sit up inside that area and rest up inside there and around the inside. Anyway, I'll mark it out and then I'll bring you back and show you what we're up to. So this is what we're going to make the base from. I don't know if you can make out the scribe lines around that. So the inner one I've drawn around the outside of the tank, and then the outer line is what I'm allowing for a flange that I'm going to fold up. So I just need to get the jigsaw out and jigsaw that out, and I'll bring you back. So a bit of angle grinding and hacksawing later. You see I've cut the edges out on the corners. Obviously can't fold the corner up, so the intention is we're going to fold the corners up, or fold the flanges round, and then I'll let in an extra piece of material to make that after the event once we've got the angles. So I'll put the base in the vise and we're going to bend that round. So if you look at the tank, this one and this one are the only two that are 90 degrees, so I'm going to do that one first, or those two first, and we'll see how we get on. I bet that sounds good if you're listening with speakers, listening with headphones. Be interesting to see if this works. I'll be cutting another one out. Right, see if it works. I might show if it does. Right, bit more progress. Folded up the edges. Just trying to get the fit nice now. We get these gaps down to nothing. I can obviously clamp them, and I've also left these edges long. So this one's perfect. Everything else is long. So likely I'm going to get that back in with one hand, but we're getting there. And then I've folded this round the same bar that we used to fold the edges, but as you can appreciate, if I take this out, this is going to come up at some weird angle, which is sort of like that, if you can see those scratch marks. So this bit's got to be removed, the top's got to be cut out, and then it's got to be let in and welded in to the appropriate corner. And I'm just wondering whether I want to leave these extra long at the moment or leave them long, so that when I get to weld that on, I'm not going to burn off round the corner and then have to clean that up. So I'm just giving that a bit of thought. We could call it pleasure delaying, I suppose, but we'll see. Anyway, bring you back in a bit. So I've not filmed much of or any of the welding, because you've all seen me weld before. But basically I've now made the base. I've attached the oil pick up to the bottom. I've welded in the extra sections in the corners, and obviously I've had to shape those to an angle which is different at the end at one side than it is to the other, because one side's returning past 90 degrees and the other one's less than 90 degrees. So what I've also done is I've trimmed round the flange with an angle grinder, basically having scribed a line around it when I put it in the tank, and I've got this down to a height that I'm happy with. So the next part of the puzzle is going to be putting it inside the tank. Then I'm going to do clamp it in multiple places, tack it in multiple places, and then I'm going to make my mind up whether I'm going to seam weld it, which I'm a little bit worried about, because I've done that before, and big welding jobs all the way around like that put so much heat into the part that it might distort it. What I did with my own tank was I tacked it in multiple places, and I basically soft soldered all the way around the outside and filled the gap in so it couldn't leak. So we'll see. Things to be considered. I'll bring you back once I've made my mind up, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all tacked in place. Okay, we're at the final stages. What I've done is I've clamped it up between the base, or the bottom, and the sides, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple of tacks around. I'm going to tease it up with a screwdriver to make sure it's level, and then I'm going to have a look, and then probably what I'm going to do is, like I said before, I'm going to solder the joint together. But let's see how we get on. So I'm trying not to build the weld up too much, so I'm going to be using probably 0.9, I think it is, as opposed to 1.2. Okay, wish me luck. Second tack. It's not very tight, so I'm just using these mole grips to make sure that it's absolutely tight in the position. And I don't know if you can see from the flare from the weld, but I am using the absolute minimum amount of heat at the moment. I'm just trying to make sure I don't destroy the edge. Okay, I need to do some tweaking with a screwdriver over this side, and then I'll bring you back. Right, just clean the tungsten, because I'd managed to get that dirty. I've got it turned down really low, so I'm just trying to be patient while I'm doing the welding, and not rush it. I've also noticed I'm holding my breath, which is probably not the best of things. And I'm going to try work in different areas so that I can limit the amount of heat build up. The other thing we're obviously trying to do is make sure we don't leave any pinholes. Because we don't want any leaks. At all. At all, at all, at all. So I ended up going for it, and I've seam welded that all the way around. Took my time. Tried to put minimal amount of filler rod in. I've just been round and inspected it with the old magnifying glasses on, make sure I hadn't got any holes. I'm going to go round and clean it up now, just give it a bit of a clean on the outside edge, just where it's blemished it around the outside, just to clean that up a little bit. And then I'm going to put some white spirit inside and make sure it's sealed, and then we'll move on to the last part, which is going to be soldering on the cap bottoms. And then I want to sit back and have a big cup of tea. So the moment of truth, I've screwed the actual feed pipe connection on the bottom, which is just like a banjo fitting. I'll put a bit of clear tube on, and I'm going to fill it up with a bit of white spirit. And we're going to see if we've got any leaks. So I've set the cap bottoms up, and I've run this straight edge. So I run it across from side to side so that they're flat, and I've got this tang on either side, which is what the cap hinge is on. And then what I'm going to try and do, I'm worried that they might just fall off when I start warming it up and it grows, but we'll see. But I was going to put some flux around that, warm them up, and see if I can literally just run a bead of solder around the outside. So we'll see. I don't imagine for 1 minute it's going to be easy, but we'll give it a go. Okay. Right. Let's try some flux. what I've done is I've cleaned up both bits with some emery cloth, so it's both surfaces are keyed and clean. But whether that's going to mean much in the scheme of things when we get round to it, I don't know. Well, that looks pretty promising. Don't know if you can see that from your camera angle. Right, I'm going to leave it alone at that. Let that cool down naturally. And fingers crossed, it's actually going to look like it's sealed it all the way around. Right, well, I don't know if you've enjoyed the series, but I certainly have. And here it is, the finished tank. So I don't know if you watched all the episodes, but maybe consider going back and having a look. We've managed to get the bottoms of the caps put on. I've just put a piece of solder through that to just operate it. But you get the idea. So they're like a quarter turn. So we got the filler on the bottom. We got the filter, which is going to filter the oil back into the tank. Yeah, it's all finished. I've really enjoyed making that. Like I said, it's the second one I've made now. And again, I've learnt something again this time. I would probably do things slightly different. But every job's a learning curve. Be nice to be able to make 5 of these things in one go and have all the things laser cut out. Do it that way so that everything was identical. But yeah, really pleased. So thanks very much for if you've watched. Thanks very much for all the comments if you've made any. If you haven't, why not? I'm hoping that I'm going to pick up a few more subscribers, and I'm hoping you're going to enjoy the content that's coming. So thanks very much, and see you next time.